Hello folks, welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're currently flying in the Skymaster with the Vario Aero, and I just want to talk about VR headsets in 2022. Which one is right for you? And I'm going to attempt to try and make this a very short video and kind of go through my opinions on pretty much all of the major VR headsets. I could literally make this video 3 hours or even 3 days, but I'm going to try and just focus on sort of the major points, having owned many VR headsets now, as you know. First of all, let's talk about the Quest 2. It's an amazing headset. It's the best all-rounder really out there, and it's insanely cheap. Of course, that's because Facebook are subsidizing that with your data, your precious data. Oh. But anyway, if that doesn't bother you, then that's fine, but that is an issue in itself. But the big elephant in the room with the Quest 2 is that it's not a native PC VR headset, which means, here's the shocker, it's not going to run as good as the sorry, not the Quest 2, that's what I'm talking about, the Reverb G2, or this thing right here, the Vario Aero. It's not even going to run as good as this. So really, if you've got a really powerful computer and you're running the Quest 2, you're actually, the Quest 2 is the bottleneck, to be honest, because all that encoding that you need to do is just going to be too much. It's a bit like false economy really, guys. If you're going to buy a really expensive computer, then you need to have a decent VR headset to go with it. So I would not recommend the Quest 2 unless you're into sort of everything that VR has to offer and you can only afford one headset. Let's say you love, like I do, gaming as well, like Half-Life Alyx, Boneworks, Saints and Sinners, Resident Evil 4, Sniper Elite, all that. They're amazing, and I do play them quite a lot, and that's why I own a Quest 2. In fact, mini golf, guys, walkabout mini golf, one of the best games you'll ever play, especially with friends. It's so much fun. They're all amazing experiences, and the Quest has the most incredible software. It really is an astonishing headset, and it's a hammer blow to the market. I think everyone's questioning now the price of all the headsets that are coming out now, comparing it to the Quest 2, but you can't really do that, folks, because Meta is such a rather large and perhaps a bit dangerous company out there that's swallowing the market. They can seemingly afford to be able to produce a headset that cheap, but that's not normal, folks. That's not a normal everyday thing, okay? So really, I cannot recommend the Quest 2 unless you are, you know, into VR as a thing, you know, the whole experience of it, gaming and flying, and you have a decent computer to go with it, and you'd rather just have the one headset. For everyone else, which is pretty much most of the people on this channel who just, like, you know, enjoy flight simulation in VR mainly, and you've probably got a fairly decent computer anyway, the Reverb G2 is the best option out there for most people, without a doubt. It is an astonishing headset. It will run better than the Quest 2 because it's obviously a native PC VR headset. You have better colours, better comfort, better audio, better clarity. I think the only thing that it isn't as good on is the software isn't as good, and it's got a smaller sweet spot. Okay, that's a big deal actually. The sweet spot in the Reverb G2 isn't very good at all, to be honest. But I can't recommend the Quest 2, folks, really, to be honest. It's a great headset, don't get me wrong. I love recording with it because it looks better than this. At the moment, as I'm talking, you're going to see lots of shaking. That's because basically I'm not using any image stabilization software. And if it gets a bit too much when I'm talking, just look at the screen. Look at me talking rather than the actual aircraft for a moment. It kind of helps. So really, the Quest 2, brilliant headset, but I cannot recommend it for most of my viewers simply because the thing is, right, yeah, it's 300 quid, but by the time you've got a elite strap, a link cable, a facial interface, you're probably looking at about £400, and I'm being very generous there, probably more like 450, which is only £150 less than a Reverb G2, which you'll be very happy with. Absolutely, most people are very happy with it. So what else we got on the market? Vipro 2. Now, I was so frustrated with the Vipro 2, guys, because when I reviewed it, I really wanted it to succeed. It's got an absolutely incredible, beautiful clarity to it, and the colours are very nice as well, and the horizontal field of view is very nice, but the vertical field of view squashed so down so much, couldn't get on with that at all. It's like a 16:9 aspect ratio. It's really weird. People complain about the Aero's vertical field of view. My God, you try Vipro 2 and get back to me. Seriously. And that sweet spot is so minute. I'm talking properly, like really small, tiny, because that lens design, the stack lens design, which it shares with the Valve Index. Yeah, guys, honestly, I can't recommend that at all. It also gets really super hot. So My personal opinion is don't go near the Vipro 2. I'm sorry. And HTC, I'm sorry if you're watching this, because you know, I know you lent me one for a while, and I do truly appreciate what you're doing for the VR community, but at the moment you're just not hitting the mark at the moment. Okay, just please carry on doing what you're doing. But what I'd like to see, if you're still watching, you haven't switched off yet for HTC, I'd like to see the Focus 3, yeah, as a consumer VR headset with a native sort of option. That would be really cool, something like that with those controllers. Anyway, right, what else we got? Let's talk about the Pimax series of headsets, particularly the Pimax 8KX. Honestly, when I reviewed that, I was expecting not to like it at all, and I was blown away. That field of view gives me the same wow factor as the Vario with the image quality. I've got a huge respect for the 8KX actually, and what they're trying to do with it. It's almost like an experimental headset in the sense that it's pushing the boundaries like really far, probably even more than the Aero really, because field of view, that crazy field of view comes at a cost. But the trouble is with the 8KX, you need a beast of a computer to run it, and really that field of view, you can't really enjoy it in most sims without you know, some what they call frustum culling issues. You'll need parallel reprojections unenabled. If you don't know what I'm on about, it's all technical jargon. I do have links in the description below of all my Pimax sort of setup videos and that kind of stuff, as well as all the reviews of all the headsets I'm mentioning. I'll have links in the description below of that as well. But the point is really, folks, is that the Pimax 8KX is an absolutely astonishing headset, and I think for a lot of people that is better than the Aero, and I think for DCS, I think it actually is better than the Aero, simply because combat situations where you need a massive wide field of view, it just rocks in that. It really does. You've got great audio, the image clarity is very good. It's really, really good actually. It's almost on par with the Reverb G2 with a better sweet spot. You can change the colours, the IPD OSFET, all that kind of stuff. It's a great headset, and I really am a massive fan of the Pimax 8KX. So really, for people who are really, you know, field of view is your thing. You're not bothered about clarity so much, but you're bothered about field of view. The 8KX is the headset. Absolutely, it's the headset for you. Right, let's take a breather, look outside, and then we'll chat about the next VR headset, which might actually be the Vario Aero. See you in a minute. Now, the Vario Aero is quite simply the best VR headset I've ever used, period. I think you know that by now, guys. I've always wanted a headset where the clarity is the whole entire image. The colours are insanely beautiful and natural, and exactly how they would be in real life. It's so light, it's so comfortable. It's made by a manufacturer who's, you know, very deep within the aerospace industry and provide headsets for the RAF, for the military, for commercial pilot training. This is a dream come true for me, absolutely. And if you've got the money and you want that most highest end experience, the Vario Aero is absolutely top of the tree without a doubt. And that's basically it with the Vario Aero. I think you know this already, folks. I don't need to keep telling you that. However, it does come at a cost. Is it worth it over the Reverb G2? You know, I get asked that all the time. Only if you can afford one. Guys, don't get into financial trouble over it. If you're happy with the Reverb G2, it's an astonishing headset, and in many ways, it's a better all-rounder than this thing, because this does not, as you can see here, have integrated audio. I'm using my headphones. So, folks, it's not perfect. Of course it isn't. Some people complain about distortions and chromatic aberration. I've mentioned chromatic aberration a few times, actually. But overall, this headset is the dog's you know what. It really is. You know, it's a visual treat for the eyes. I can fly in this headset all damn day, and that's exactly what I've been doing today. I've now been flying this for about 2 hours so far, and it's about midday. I'm going to get a coffee, and I'm going to fly for the rest of the afternoon. Right, now let's quickly talk about 2022 and headsets that may come out this year. Like the Pimax QLED. In fact, it's going to be Q4 this year, so it could even be 2023, but we shall see about that one. That promises to be an incredible headset. Maybe even, you know, finally have that clarity and field of view that we all want. in a package that absolutely sounds insane. It's going to be wireless, it's going to have an XR2 chipset, it's going to have like 210 degrees field of view, QLED panel, so it's going to have the best of OLED and LCD, 12K, oh my god, it's just going to have so many things, and I'm very excited that hopefully I'll have one to review on the channel before too long. However, at the moment, you know, can I recommend waiting for that? I can't really say either way, folks. But to be honest, I can say it almost certainly that nothing's going to beat the Vario Aero in terms of the image clarity and quality of that screen, because even with the Pimax, it's going to have a bionic display, meaning it's going to use Fresnel based lenses for the sort of peripheral, or perhaps, you know, the outer edges, and then a sort of aspheric lens in the middle. So it will be mega super clear, but it won't be as clear over the full field of view. However, if field of view is the most important thing in VR to you, absolutely wait for the Pimax QLED, or even better, you could even buy an 8KX now and trade it in afterwards. So that is another option. What else? The Cambria, the Meta Cambria. That looks like a very interesting headset, but folks, it's not going to be anywhere near as cheap as the Quest 2. It's going to have pancake lenses, like the Apara. I've learned something very valuable with the Apara. Even with pancake micro OLED display lenses, there is two issues that I've found, or maybe even more than that, but two main ones. There's Compton Abyss there. Look at that, beautiful. First of all, the sweet spot is not as clear as I thought it would be. Even with pancake lenses, you still have a sweet spot and it's still blurry on the edges. Also, you don't get a beautiful bright screen like at the moment with the sun coming up here. This, like, it's 150 nits, the Aero, and trust me, it doesn't hurt your eyes at all. It's just an absolute massive treat for the eyes. It just looks so bright and beautiful. The only thing you're going to enjoy with a micro OLED that you cannot with the Aero is pure blacks. Again, if that's important to you, then absolutely think about those micro OLED headsets coming out. Like the possibly, in fact, actually, I don't think the Cambria is going to have an OLED screen, is it? Please let me know in the comments. But anyway, the Meta Cambria, if you are a massive Meta fan and you want to upgrade your Quest, then that could be a very, you know, a decent proposition for you. Also, the Valve, we don't know much about this, actually. In fact, I don't know hardly anything about the Valve. That is the one that's going to be interesting. What are they going to provide? I haven't really mentioned the Valve Index. I haven't really tried a Valve Index. But again, that probably is one of the best all-round PC VR headsets out there on the market. I think the only thing is that it doesn't... Yeah, I think it doesn't really make sense this year to buy one if you're looking at thinking of buying one. I just think high resolution VR has to be a standard now, and the Valve Index does not have a very high resolution panel. But I think overall the Valve Index, I mean, it's a respected headset and there's a reason for that. So let's recap, folks, 'cause it's a very difficult video this, trying to say all this information in a very short amount of time. But the Quest 2 is an amazing VR headset. It's the most incredible all-round VR headset out there, but it's a compromise in terms of sort of, you know, you need to get add-ons for it. It definitely doesn't work out of the box. You need a decent strap and all that kind of stuff. And if you've got a modern computer and you use it just for flight simulation, you're doing your PC a disservice, because you might as well buy a HP Reverb G2, which will give you everything better and no downsides really, apart from perhaps a smaller sweet spot. And if you get the version 2, well, it's even better actually. Right, Compton Abyss is out there somewhere. In terms of the Vipro 2, no, don't recommend that, don't buy it. What else? Pimax 8KX, if your thing is field of view, you use DCS most of the time, oh my god, the 8KX is absolutely incredible, totally recommend that. Also, we'll talk about the Vario Aero. Well, it's the best VR headset known to man. That's all I'm going to say about that. And if you can afford it, do it. Go for it. You'll love it. You won't regret it. Where is Compton Abyss? I've lost it now. I've gone too low, I think. There it is. I found it. I've got a visual. Then we have headsets like, basically, like the Rift S. The Rift S is a really good headset. I wouldn't recommend buying one because Meta don't support it anymore in terms of updates, really. But if you've got one and you're happy with it, honestly, don't blame you. Just keep it, enjoy it. It's got a great display on it if you super sample it. And then, you know, future headsets like the Cambria. Where am I going, folks? think it's there, isn't it? The Cambria from Meta promises to be very interesting indeed. You've got the Apara. I don't recommend that. Check out my review for the reasons why. We've got the Valve Index and possibly a Valve Index 2. That will be a very interesting proposition, and if you're willing to wait for it, that could be the disruptor of the market. It really could be. I hope in some sort of weird way that video has been useful to you. That is my thoughts on all the VR headsets, pretty much all of them anyway. And, you know, when it comes down to it, for high-end VR, the Vario Aero is absolutely the leader. The Quest 2 is great, but actually I'd recommend the Reverb G2 over the Quest 2. For future headsets, let's see what happens this year, folks. It's going to be a very interesting time. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again very soon. Take care. Bye for now.